It is perfectly obvious, to me anyway, that psychedelics so challenge cultural values that a society has to be incredibly confident of its first premises to allow its citizens to habitually and regularly explore altered states of consciousness. That's a level of democratic dialogue that would rip this society asunder. I mean, American society cannot function without a vast, deep, hidden, dark closet into which nobody ever looks and no rhetoric ever penetrates. And if it did, the whole enterprise would just rip at the seams. Every once in a while, this happens. The president's blowjob, a case in point. But, we move very slowly and cautiously in these areas. But nevertheless, curious intellectual elites, feeling the existential ennui imposed by scientific materialism, have made special rules for themselves. And throughout the 20th century, we have had the phenomenon of bohemian culture, experimenting with sexual mores, experimenting with intoxicants of various sorts, experimenting with ideas. And I mean the bohemian community in a little larger sense than simply the artistic community, because there has always been a bohemian community in science as well. Renegade scientists, the Rupert Sheldrake's of the world, represent essentially the denizens of scientific bohemia. And someone could argue with this premise, but I would argue with them and win, I tell you. The enormous explosion of creativity, artistic, scientific, in popular culture, in design, in fashion, in literature, throughout the 20th century has been driven by generically social disequilibrium, movement of people and ideas, and in the background of that, psychedelics. The entire internet computer revolution rides on the backs of people who were taking LSD in the 60s, and people have expressed horror at this idea and then taken opinion polls at various professional gatherings such as SIGGRAPH and Comdeck and gatherings like that, and had this insight confirmed overwhelmingly. The entire post-1950s edifice of information transfer and replication technology was created by psychedelic people and is serving them very well as a corporate elite. And so what I see happening is the dirty and unspoken secret of the 20th century's phenomenal diversity and creativity is its relationship to artificial stimulation of the imagination by whatever means. And we're now so late in the 20th century, so late in the unfolding of modernity, that I think it's all right to talk about this. Now the creativity loop is very short. I mean, people are inspired and they can implement through coding on the internet, through graphic tools that they have at their disposal. And so faster and faster, the imagination is vivifying itself. It is becoming more eminent. And this is what the future is. The future is a breakdown of the notion of three-dimensional linear Newtonian space, to be replaced by a fractal landscape of 1 trillion private Idahos that are all reacting to each other and integrating with each other and leaping over each other in a dimension much deeper and much more variable than the social dimension that we're used to seeing societies function in. And I think that if you're paying attention, or if you're semi-unemployed, as I am, you realize that you can spend all your time simply trying to understand what is happening to the world and to yourself and to technology and sexuality and medicine and spirit and mathematics and art. And this drama of being is now being waged on so many levels at such an intensity that the metaphor of saying history is like a psychedelic experience is actually giving way to the demonstrable fact of the matter.